Live, 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 live. We are live. We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Slip Into the Night, episode 50.
Holy cow, really?
Yes. We are half 100.
Wow, that
This
just
is
kind of blew my mind up right there. Seriously.
essential oils or essential snake oils. Holly brought this up to me the other day, and I said yes. And she had thought that I would balk at this. Hell no. Hell no. I think this is it's a perfect type of subject to talk about right now. And I think it fits perfect for our show. But yeah, I essential oils, the misuse and or misrepresentation of them, I think is there's a way too much of that goes on. There's a lot of that goes on in homeopathic stuff, and I think you and I talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think my exposure to essential oils really came when I started to investigate and with Reiki and some other types of energy healing, what that all was about. And many Reiki healers, energy practitioners, are also involved in essential oil use.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put it broadly, essential oil use in various ways. And I was aware that plants could be made and distilled and concentrated into their essential oils, but until I really kind of got into that, I guess, subculture, the energy work subculture, I did not realize how big a thing it is. It's $1 billion industry. There are a number of really big companies like Young Living and doTERRA, to name a few, that sell essential oils. However, what I was, telling you, Chris, and what's really interesting is that, what is happening is that it's become part of the natural medicine wave of popularity, that people really want natural medicine instead of big pharma.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is that and through the ancient history, we know that people use plants and herbs to treat illness. So there's a big portion of the population that is, against or not really into. They don't want big industrial medicine. They are going back to herbal medicine, and some of that is essential oil. But the thing of it is that one, essential oils are super concentrated, and they're not well researched.
Right.
And so the trouble that has happened is that some of these companies that are producing essential oils have made claims that are a little bit outside of the scope of what they can do.
Yeah.
And so, like the one that I pulled up before we started the show, I'm actually looking at the FDA, the U.S. Food and Drug,
Mm-hmm.
the warning letter to Young Living essential oils from September 22nd, 2014. And, they're to the CEO of the company. And basically they're saying, under the subheading top oil choices to viruses, on the top of my list is thieves. This is highly antimicrobial, and it could help against Ebola. Ebola virus cannot live in the presence of cinnamon bark. This is in the thieves oil, nor oregano. And
Jesus.
what another statement, Emu Power, which is one of their essential oil blends by Young Living, would be a top choice as well. Emu Power is a blended oil containing oregano, clove, frankincense, Revinsara, Cistus, Mountain Savory, and Hyssop. Every single one of these has antiviral properties. And
Yeah.
it's not just that, but then other companies will say things like, will perpetuate this on the website theoildropper.com under the heading Rosemary Essential Oil by Young Living. Regular use of rosemary essential oil may help prevent diseases associated with free radicals, including cancer and heart disease. Rosemary research in regards to Alzheimer's disease showed aromatherapy as a potential treatment and for the cognitive, e.g., memory impairments caused by dementia. So, what the FDA is taking as a problem is that they are making these basically medical claims that these essential oils can do, have a medical function, but there's no
Right.
evidence behind it. And the FDA is very strict about, anyone making a medical claim that does not have studies behind it.
Right.
Because put that out to the public and the public read it, um, it looks very well written. It looks like there's something behind it, but there's no evidence behind it. And there's a risk that someone would do a treatment like this that actually has no efficacy because of the way that statement's written. And in fact, around here under the heading Myrtle Essential Oil, it uses and benefits. It says, according to a study, and the FDA is saying that this is actually not even a real study. Myrtle inhibited prostate and breast cancer cells along with sandalwood at very low concentrations. Sandalwood essential oil ranked number 1 for inhibiting growth of breast cancer at 98.1%, and myrtle was at 95.2%. So what they're saying is that they're making claims that there are also some websites are then going too far and saying that there is claims that are not sufficient. And that even if there are studies that's saying that some essential oils can affect the actual cells, they may still not be appropriate as used in an actual treatment. And this has also been used with, our newest health concern right now is coronavirus. There are people making claims about,
Essential oils.
essential oils.
There's always somebody, Holly.
Yes, essential oils. Here's it's from nutraingredients.com, but it's an article.
Somebody's gonna fucking mix up Fanta and Faygo with a little bit of fucking cough syrup and sell it as a fucking COVID cure at this fucking point. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this says from the FDA point of view, essential oils that are not ingested as dietary supplements are very limited in what they can claim to do. But of course, they cannot claim to treat or prevent COVID-19 or any disease. They also cannot claim to affect the structure or function of the body by their scent or otherwise.
Yeah.
Doing so causes them to be unapproved new drugs.
Essential oils, like stuff like that, incense, and I had talked to you about this yesterday. If you want to use that as like a way to attune yourself to a certain I don't know, vibration, whatever the case may be, or you can use scents as a way to study too. That's a very a well documented way to use scents. You use a certain fragrance while you're doing your studying, your reading, your whatnot, whatever. And then when you go to take your test or you're doing, your other, your recall stuff for it, you use that scent again to bring those memories back. And because we tend to associate stuff with scents. So that can be used in that way. But the things that they're claiming, it's like, why is it that you give them an inch and they take a mile? They just go, wee. They don't give a fuck.
Well, and botanical oils are also big business.
Yeah.
because it takes so much of the plant to make any real amount of quantity. They often have, a little tiny bottle of some essential oils is like, 50, 60. Some of them that are more rare plants
Mm-hmm.
are $100 a bottle. So it's big money.
Yep.
Okay. And so you have to be aware of that. The other thing is that becomes problematic is, if they're not really regulated, they could get the plants from anywhere. And what if this plant is growing over a landfill?
Yeah.
And what kind of testing are they doing to make sure that there isn't like lots of heavy metals?
There's a lot of stuff that goes on with that, with the limited testing that goes on with a lot of homeopathic medicines.
Yes. So it's just, and I own essential oils. I do have them, but I don't use them like
in that
as
capacity.
a medicine. I use them to make my room smell nice. I use them to help me feel relaxed. I drop them on.
There's also you probably use them, like I was saying, as a way to like kind of like attune yourself maybe at certain times. Have that scent, or with incense. I'm sure you've done that.
Well, I do burn incense at different times just to make things smell nice. Or if I'm gonna do like ceremony, I
Mm-hmm.
might burn incense to make the space feel more clean.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it sometimes adds an extra like feeling of sacredness because I associate incense burning or essential oil use with that sacred time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I personally, I don't feel comfortable ingesting essential oils.
Oh, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't.
Um,
That's crazy shit, as far as
that
I'm concerned.
that's I'm not comfortable with that. I try not to put them on my skin because some of them are so strong they can cause rashes.
Yep.
I do sometimes. I have these balls made out of felted wool, and I do put a couple drops on these felted wool balls, and I run them in the dryer.
I
And they
just
make
want
my
to know how
clothes.
many.
Hmm?
I just want to know how many housewives have those like bottles of the essential oil thing with the sticks sticking out of them that they haven't filled in like 6 months to a year.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So
Those are the questions that I want to understand.
yeah.
But but you and I, and there are other people out there who use these types of things in what I don't want to say that we're using them the right way, but in a proper fashion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, and I think you do. For the things that you're not going out and saying that these are medicines that you can ingest, like you're saying, that you can ingest and they can fix you. Oh, by the way, hi, Katie.
Good morning, Katie, or it's good afternoon.
Yeah, almost.
Hey.
I think she's an hour behind us, so technically, or
Hmm.
she might be in the same time zone. I don't know. She lives in one of them weird areas. But yeah,
Right.
I the whole I got introduced to incense and the whole scent thing in my teenage years when I got into ritual magic and um I I didn't really get into Wicca or witchcraft, but I like looked into those things. And you know when I got into it, it was more of a way of setting mood, or like you would have certain scents that were associated with certain different things for like ritual use. I don't know if that's the same for you.
Well, right. Like I was saying, I didn't really know much about it until I started with learning about Reiki and that kind of the Reiki community. And I'm not saying that Reiki people use essential oils improperly or not. I'm just saying that People often turn to Reiki as an alternative to Western medicine that they become disillusioned with for various reasons. And they're looking for something that they perceive as more helpful, more natural, more gentle to the body. However, there are, that can take you to the path of investigating other alternative, quote unquote, medicines or remedies. And with essential oils in particular, that there are like actual claims that people have made false claims with essential oils being medicine.
Oh yeah.
In the, and I had no idea about this. Same thing with herbal supplements. There are some good herbal supplements. There are some good herbal supplements that actually have studies behind them.
Yeah.
But there are also some that don't, and it is much less regulated than traditional big pharma medications. So you still have to be careful about it. And just be an educated buyer and look into the things that you buy and look into the companies that you buy. I had no idea, until I looked into Young Living, that the guy who runs Young Living, not only did he make claims that his essential oils, some of them could, let me just find an article, could cure things like, or could be used against Ebola, which Ebola is like a very lethal viral hemorrhagic disease that many, many people do not survive.
Yeah, to claim that is kind of crazy.
In
my opinion, that's just downright crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a site. I saw that he had at one point in Mexico had kind of like an alternative healing clinic that was kind of dodgy.
I think Katie's saying he'd been prosecuted for pretending to be a doctor.
Yes, Katie. Thank you.
Yeah, so she probably knows the case. She's probably already looked into this.
Yeah.
But I can't believe that no matter what the time is, there's always people who will come out and be snake oil salesmen. In times of need, when people just want hope. There's these assholes that come out of the woodwork that sell people hope. But it's bullshit hope. Katie's saying he also killed his newborn baby accidentally, birthed in a bathtub, and they left him underwater for like an hour. Oof.
Oh my God.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's crazy shit. Yeah.
I wish that was the only one, but like another one is it's not one particular company, but people are starting to take the shaga mushroom. It's a fungus that grows on like birch trees which does have some evidence that it has medicinal properties. And it has been used by traditional communities for a very long time. But now they're starting to make claims about it and then, grind it up into like loose tea and stuff like that. And and the FDA has cited Shaga Mountain Incorporated because they're actually from Maine.
Good old Maine company.
That they are promoting an unapproved drug. That your Shaga mushroom tea bags are being claimed to have medicinal properties that there's not enough evidence for. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that someone would make that claim. You've got people like, okay, so you got a guy like, what is it? Paul Stamets, I think his name is, that went on Rogan. He's a mushroom guy.
Yep.
A huge mushroom guy. He's into tripping out on mushrooms, and he's into just mushrooms, period. And, after shit like that, people go crazy and think that they can make all kinds of wild claims. Now, I don't know if this is the case, but with a lot of these companies or these people, these startups, that's what happens. They get it in their head that this thing is a good thing. And what is it they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. You know, sometimes it's the case when it comes to these remedies, is that people have really, really good intentions when they start, and then they just fall off the rails. And a lot of time it's because money.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, shaga mushrooms, which grow in the Northeast.
Yep.
They have become like this a little bit almost like a black market. I know people. I know of people who go and they will harvest pounds of it and sell it at like farmers markets and stuff like that to people who have heard of them. That is a mushroom that has medicinal value, but they will just go and harvest unrelentingly. For this Shaga Mountain, it says even if your Shaga mushroom tincture / extract, alcohol free, Shaga mushroom tea bags, and Shaga mushroom powdered loose tea products, it did not have therapeutic claims which make them unapproved drugs. These dietary supplement products are adulterated, in that they have been prepared, packed, or held under conditions that do not meet good manufacturing requirements. So,
well, that's something I think I was talking to you about yesterday, with the in the herbal supplements market, where you have companies which, you know, they'll make like a ginseng pill.
Yep.
But they'll make the same, you know, on the same exact machine. They'll do like Damiana leaf.
Yep.
You know, and so you have this cross contamination of products. Or you don't know exactly what you're getting because the company doesn't have the proper cleaning standards on the machines, or, you know, whatnot. And these are all things that, you know, as much as we like to shit on the FDA and governmental regulation, it's what they put in place so that this stuff doesn't happen when you get your fucking, you know, your pill from your doctor. But there's not any regulation in these, or there's not as much regulation. It's a very lackadaisical regulatory process.
Right. It's not as stringent as the pharma drugs.
Right.
So the herbal supplements. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful about the reputation of the company. You have to know that what you're taking may not be purely what is advertised, and you know should know that any kind of herbal supplement that's making medical claims, you have to be super careful of what the claims are because they could be unsubstantiated, and that makes it an unapproved drug.
Yep.
And that's where a lot of these companies get in trouble, is that they start touting some health benefits of certain herbs, and then they keep going on down that train, and it becomes into the drug realm.
Yeah, I think the only supplement that I ever had a doctor tell me has solid medical evidence behind it was like glucosamine and was it chondroitin there that they sell for like joint health.
Yeah, you know what is interesting about that? That actually doesn't come from a plant, though.
Right, but but that's like one of those things that it's not like a drug. You can just buy it, and they're like, yeah, this stuff actually works.
Yeah, but there's lots and lots of studies for glucosamine and chondroitin.
Yeah, and I know that because Joe Rogan's in that Alpha Brain company, they sell supplements, and I know they did some double blind tests on some of their stuff. Yeah, because they had wanted it to stand up to people's speculation or people's questions. So I mean, you can get some reputable stuff out there. Like there's places you can go and get good quality supplements, but there's also shit places. Excuse me, where you're going to get a bunch of crap. You know, the vitamin industry, supplement industry is huge.
It's a lot of
Absolutely
money.
huge. Yeah.
That is where you really have to research the companies, know who they are, what they're about.
Mm-hmm.
Are they reputable? Because what happens is that, maybe there is a botanical plant that does have some good, some at least anecdotal evidence. It's been, used someplace for thousands of years. Okay, that would suggest that it may actually have an effect. But, maybe they're only putting 1/10 of what they're saying actually in the in the pill, in the drop, whatever it is. So that it's much more diluted, and then you're not really going to get the medicinal or desired effect.
Have you ever listened to Dr. Rhonda Patrick on Rogan?
No.
Joe Rogan. Oh my God, she'll start talking about certain things like what you can do with like broccoli sprouts and shit. Like how much of them you got to eat to get the desired effect type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
She's an amazing mind in science right now. And she talks about a lot of stuff like this, not necessarily supplements, but things of that nature, like how you can get this stuff from healthy eating and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like, I can't remember what it is you get from eating those types of things, but the health benefits and stuff like anti-inflammatory properties, stuff like that, that you can get from eating certain things if you grow it on your own and eat it at this stage. It's some amazing information out there.
Yeah. But I think that also is common sense too, to some degree, that something that you grow in your backyard and you can pick and it's super fresh.
Oh yeah.
And that you've taken good care of is going to be of higher quality than that, let's say zucchini that's been shipped, across the continent, and it's probably 7 days old by the time you get it.
Yeah, I mean, hell, in some things you can't grow in certain climates. It's harder, or it's a pain in the ass to grow. But I mean, you could probably, like, a lot of this stuff you could just grow on your own. You want some ginseng? Just friggin' grow some ginseng.
Yeah, and ginseng's really interesting because there is some evidence that ginseng itself is helpful. And in Asia, it is a very popular traditional medicinal herb. They have a huge market for it, and it is one of the biggest poached plants in the United States.
I believe it.
Truckloads of ginseng are just taken off of land.
I remember when I got caught up in the whole ginseng thing.
Yeah, foreign markets, because it's such big money.
Oh, overseas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the thing is that we love their ginseng and they love ours. That's the weird thing. We want what they have and they want what we have. They want American ginseng and we want the ginseng that they have over in Asia.
Yeah.
I remember my buddy telling me that, like, way back in the 90s, when he got me into herbal supplements. Yeah, I learned really quick, like, there's a lot of horse shit, and you just wind up spending a lot of money on a lot of crap. And there are some things that, like you said, are helpful and can be helpful. Absolutely. Without question. But the types of claims that they make about some of this stuff, like with the essential oils, like with what's going on now with that, way off base. Just completely way off base. You know, I mean, I think for the most part, if people just take a good multivitamin and eat healthy, you're probably going to be in your best, on your best game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Another one is that Garcinia cambogia, which has been like the celebrity like weight loss herb. It's a tropical fruit.
That and cocaine.
Yeah.
that and cocaine and Adderall there, Holly.
Cocaine comes from the coca plant, which it is not nearly so addictive if you use the actual plant.
Right.
But it's the highly refined,
distilled down version of it, of the leaves.
Really.
Yeah, because you had talked about maybe going to Peru once.
Oh, I would still like to go to Peru
and hiking into the mountains, and like they'll have you chew on the leaves, the coca leaves, when you go to some of these places.
Right, it is their
it's traditional
remedy for altitude sickness is the coca leaf.
Yeah,
but it is not supposed to be nearly as addictive,
and it's not going to get you like cocaine high, like. Yeah, it's not going to be the same. It would be very interesting. It'd be something that I would be apt to if I went there to try. It would be cool. Because it's a totally different thing. It's not like friggin' doing rails of friggin' coke, for God's sakes, which is horrible.
Yes. That said, you cannot bring leaves or berries from the coca plant back to the U.S.
Oh, yeah. They ain't gonna let you take that back home.
You can't bring it back home. Not to say that anyone's traveling there right now, anyway, because of travel shutdowns. But
yeah, that would be interesting though if you ever get a chance to do that.
Yeah, I'd love to go.
That would be really, really cool. But on that note, Holly, I'm gonna wrap us up.
I had just one other point to make.
Sure, go ahead.
Is that the other thing to think about is even if there is one that's pretty benign, you still got to let your doctor know because it may interact with any other kind of medications you take.
Yeah.
So even though, you maybe have been taking one for years, but now you get put on a hypertension medicine, there are some herbs like grapefruit and that people eat grapefruit all the time. It is benign. You can buy it in an essential oil. You can buy it in different things, but it actually doesn't mix well with hypertensive medications for different.
Yeah, and I listened to a medical podcast, Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve, and he constantly says, even though he's a doctor, don't just take my word for it. Talk to your doctor. Always talk to your doctor. If you're going to try a new medical therapy or homeopathic therapy, of course, talk to your fucking doctor. Talk to the person that, is you're consulting for your medical advice. I mean, some people don't use a doctor. Consult who you need to consult. But don't just, I would say, across the board, don't just start taking something willy-nilly. Especially if you're on all kinds of medications, like Holly was saying. That can be very dangerous. So.
Shout out to Katie for all her great comments.
Yeah, Katie was on point today. Excuse me, but Katie's always on point, so I gotta hand it to Katie. And tonight we will be going over 2020 so far. All the fun, happy horse shit that's just come down the pike, from COVID to murder hornets to what do we got right now? Double hurricane all the way.
We had a water spout in New Hampshire yesterday.
What?
There was a water spout on Lake Winnipesaukee.
No shit.
Like 20 minutes from my house.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Because we had that thunder shower that came through when you were out here yesterday.
I know that may have been part of it. Like,
Oh,
but
wow.
they had like a legit tornado that hit the lake and became a water spout, and there's a picture of it.
Yeah. Holly came out yesterday to the beach, and we went for a long walk on the beach and almost got caught out in a thunderstorm. But we luckily made it back in time. So we will be back. We'll try to be back next week with another topic for everybody, and hope people can catch us tonight on the 40 and Slip. Until then, everybody have